I can't lie, I'm not much of a CGI fan, but that doesn't mean I dislike it by any means. Honestly, I really enjoy a lot of the movies that come from this series, but one of those in specific, and that's what we're talking about today. Journey Beyond Sodor. Now, don't get me wrong, there's things I don't like about it, sure, like, man, that mainland is just so boring, and maybe the steelworks bit could have been done better. I also hate Frankie, but besides that, mostly the characters in this movie are pretty neat, and I think we see that the most in terms of the experimental engines. If there's ever a Thomas movie I just watch, it's either, well, Magic Railroad or this one. Really only because me and my fiance both really adore the dorkiness they all have, and, well, how weird they are. Today, I thought it'd be cool to give them their own highlight, too. So, with all of that being said, what are the experimental engines? Let's start with the simplest, Lexi. Now, unlike the others, Lexi takes an American basis, that specifically being the North Pacific Coast Railroad Cab Forward, a 440 numbered 21, the Thomas Stetson, a rebuild of another engine that was wrecked in 1897. So again, she isn't a British locomotive, but is gauged to run on British track. It's also worth noting she isn't exactly exact to that basis, as she's been modified quite a bit to accommodate a face and a buffer beam on her tender. Where her face would usually be a lamp, which has been moved downwards on her model. I mean, besides that, she's just kinda Lexi. Next comes a personal favorite, Theo. But here's where things get a little weird. Theo is kinda like Percy, more so in the fact there isn't anything but himself like himself. He doesn't have an exact basis. Now, with that being said, he does seem to take a similar basis to Fergus, that being the Aveling and Porter Blue Circle, or a TJ-class locomotive. Just very, very heavily modified. As you can see, he has a cab, which is likely inspired by Sir Vincent. Also, a gear drive system that's not too far off from a Colebrookdale engine. And lastly, a flywheel that seems to take inspiration from number 807. Yeah, he's kinda just a hodgepodge, if anything. A little guy, if you will. A thing in almost every sense of the word. Besides that, though, he's just kinda Theo. Now, originally, I wasn't gonna include this guy, but of course we have Hurricane. Now, technically, Hurricane isn't with the other experimental engines. He works at the steelworks in the movie. But truth be told, that doesn't make a lot of sense since he himself is an experimental type. Hurricane is based on the GER Class A55, the DECAPOD, a very experimental tank engine. Train of Thought has an amazing video on this thing if you're interested. I'll have that linked in the description. But to make a long story short, it was the first locomotive to feature 10 driving wheels, hence the name DECAPOD. It also had the incredible ability to go from fully stopped to 30 miles per hour in 30 seconds. Something very unique to it, and it's kind of a shame we never hear anything about this in the movie. The engine itself was eventually rebuilt into an 080, and following that, scrapped. Man, again, it's such a cool, unique steam engine, and Hurricane's just kind of a dipshit. Last but not least, Merlin the Invisible. Now, Merlin is one of the more low-key, if anything, experimental engines, as his modifications aren't anything too drastic. Merlin is based on the N15 King Arthur class by Southern Railway, specifically number 783, Sir Gilmere? I was close enough. An engine that in 1940 was fitted with 3 funnels by Oliver Bulleid himself. This was an experiment during wartime to try and disperse the smoke that came from the engine. It was hoped that having the 3 funnels would render the engine invisible to bombers or planes overhead, and more or less disperse any smoke that came out of them. In reality, however, this really didn't work at all, and the engine was returned to normalcy soon after. I mean, I can't knock the hustle, I probably would have thought of the same thing. Nah, if it were me, it would have been 4 funnels and it would have worked. As for Merlin, however, he's pretty convinced, and hey, I won't take it from him. Again, he's kinda just Merlin. And those are the experimental engines and what they are. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for even more train content. There's always more stuff on the way. And really quick, as always, huge shout out and thank you to my patrons. Videos like this just wouldn't be possible without the support of you guys. If you want to join these lovely people on screen for a shout out each video, be sure to check the link in the description. You also get early access to videos and sneak peeks to projects, so yeah, it's kind of fun, not gonna lie. Yeah, with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, my non-binary pals, this has been TrainBoy, and make sure today's a good one.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.